Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? I mean, what's really going on? It's your girl Tilted Halo sitting alongside my good girlfriend Karen Sims of Twisted Threads LLC, and we are Unhinged Live. I want to go ahead at the top of the show. You know how we do it. We like to welcome you all with a whole lot of love. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I want to go ahead and take the opportunity to go ahead and acknowledge all of our replay viewers that'll go ahead and click play at a later time. Thank you so much for your support. We do what we do here on the platform for each and every one of you. I'm excited about tonight's show. Y'all already know. I'm going to ask you right now to pardon me, forgive me now in case I start stuttering, because I'm again on the verge of fanning out because of our guests for tonight's show. Again, y'all heard me say it in last week's broadcast. When I bring people on, it's because I'm actually a fan and I have to practice a whole lot of self-control during the interviews and conversations that we're hosting, because we are all about celebrating everybody here at the Unhinged Show Live. So, of course, I want to familiarize you all with what's going to happen on tonight's broadcast. Of course, you're going to hear from our beautiful guests on tonight. We're going to take a brief trip merrily down the stream. We're going to hit a hot topic of discussion, something that I really need help with, because as I shared in an off-air conversation, I got an attitude problem today and I need some help. And of course, I'm going to get that balm to heal my soul in a reflection of purpose brought to us by none other than our in-house certified master life coach, Karen Sims. So, Karen, how you doing?
I am doing okay. All right. I think I'm on the high side of the okay this week. Just got back from traveling, so nephew is coming along, and can I just say it is nice to get some Z's in my own bed. That the one I paid for, that one.
Yes. Ain't no mattress like your own.
Ooh, child. Nobody steer you wrong. They lying if they say anything different.
Okay. So me, myself, and I, again, I'm trying to get a handle on my allergies that have just been straight running amok. My eyes dripping, nose running, throat is, engaging with the flammulations. And it's just been hard out here for your girl, but I'm thankful that there's plenty of water. I praise God for the gift of ginger tea and peppermints that help soothe my esophageal region. All right. Because I be having to sing, and that soprano note is not always easy to hit, but I just thank God for keeping my voice as I've already hit a particular queen age year. So enough of our playful banner. I don't want to delay the hour because, again, y'all already heard me say I'm very excited about tonight's guest. So before we open the door and bring her in the room, let me just go ahead and introduce you to her briefly, because, honey, let me tell you something. She's a sister in the craft, and she can tell you all about herself. Tonight's guest is a sister in the craft. She is a style and fashion ambassador. She's also a published author. Our sister, our guest for tonight, has been featured in many style magazines and has recently been acknowledged as a style ambassador for Allentown, Pennsylvania. Yes, recently during Black History Month. And of course, y'all know we're still celebrating Women's History Month, and our sister, our guest for tonight, is making history for herself. So Karen, you ready to open the door for tonight's guest? Let me introduce to some and present to others the beautiful style maven herself, Miss Brieana Ofosu. Come on in the room, girl. Where you at? Where you at with your pretty self?
Wow. That was like, you ever hear somebody like introduce you like me? She's talking about me?
Yes, girl.
Listen, God is good. God is so good. He really is, because he He's been taking me to and through some things, and I thank God for it all. So thank you for having me, honestly. Thank you so much.
No problem. And thank you for saying yes, because you've actually said yes to so many things. And I appreciate you making time in your busy schedule to
Absolutely.
sit with us here tonight. So all the people in our viewership and in our listenership can get to know and understand why I love you so very, very much.
Thank
All right.
you.
You're welcome.
It's
So check
nice
it
to
out.
be loved. I love you too.
So check it out, y'all. I was originally connected physically with Brieana as we modeled last year in Lehigh Valley's Full Figured Fashion Week. And I promise you, Sister Girl came up in the room just silently fierce, impeccably gorgeous. And I was like, all right. So and speaking with you, Brieana, I began to I actually learned that we are from the same hometown. So
Yes.
using that as a segue, I want to go ahead and ask you to share with our listeners a little bit more about who you are. I want to know, is Brieana a woman? Who are you professionally? Are you a mom? Are you a sister? Are you a friend? Talk to our listeners. Tell them who you are.
Of course. So one of the things that I think I learned probably at the peak of COVID, as we probably all learned some things at that time, was that I can be all things, and that I can do anything that Christ has laid upon my heart, and his purpose is his plan is for me. So I wear a lot of hats, but currently I'm a mompreneur. I'm a wardrobe stylist. I am a radio show host. I'm a woman of God. I'm also a soprano. So when you said that, I was like, come on now. We both struggling with the allergies, but they're kicking my butt, man. But I am a plus size model. I'm just someone who enjoys showing people that they can and that they should go for all of the things that they've dreamt about, all of the things that they put on their vision board, all of the things they wrote down in that notebook. That's who I am. That's who Brieana Ofoso is.
Thank you so much, Brieana. Karen, do you have any questions for tonight's guest?
I'm just gonna kind of keep going along with it, but like I wonder, we're talking faith and fashion, and I love that they are going hand in hand for you. But can you tell us maybe a time, maybe a singular occasion where you can recall that sparked your passion for fashion?
Ooh, I think that originated from Sunday morning. That Faith and Fashion 360 actually started as a blog. So it started off as a blog. You go to church on Sunday morning, you're dressed up from head to toe. I mean, not a hair out of place. Everything is ready to go. And as a plus size consumer, seeing somebody dressed to the nines like that is not always a common occurrence, unfortunately. So I would always get where'd you get that? I have no idea how to shop. And I would be giving out those tidbits, to people who are still texting me like, hey, can you tell me where, you got that top, where you found those shoes, where you got those, tights from. So I created the blog Faith and Fashion 360. And that was a place where once a week I took pictures of that Sunday outfit and I said, here's where I got everything. So really it just kind of came from like that one-off moment where we're super dressed up, we feel good, our spirits are high, and we're ready to be thankful about the week. So it really, started on a Sunday morning, honestly.
That's what's
I absolutely love it, because I know I can speak for me and Tilted, where we might have been stopped a time or two, and the thought may have thought like, where did I get? I have no idea where this came from. Be mindful of when you're going in there styling and rocking. Come on, we rocking out for Jesus, making sure we are showing up with our Sunday's best, and you are being noticed. But make a blog out of it. It seems so very practical, I promise, but it's real life, and that's what we love here. We know that
Yep.
love that this is real life. Where you get that from, sis? You rocking that? Where did that come from? To know that not only is it, you sharing your passion for fashion, but it turned into a public service. How about that?
And I didn't mind sharing it either. I didn't mind sharing it at all. I mean, because sometimes you see people and they, they want to gatekeep on some things. I don't mind sharing. I do not mind sharing. We could all have the same piece and wear it completely different. So, that was also,
That's right.
super empowering to me as well. Yeah.
I have again some questions jotted down here, but every now and again I get a little question from my tingle tangles, and I get these downloads. I have to acknowledge them, and I really wanted to hear from you if you have any particular words of advice for a young curvy woman who's trying to find her way. Can you share a couple tidbits for the young folk who have not yet found their style niche?
Right. I want you to know that you are absolutely enough, and that finding your style niche comes with just standing 10 toes down into who you are also. So having the confidence to be whoever it is you are. I think that Faith and Fashion 360, the blog, also served as ministering to myself as well, because I created that out of a time where I was not feeling the most confident. So, definitely working backwards. People like, girl, you look good, but I didn't feel the best at the time. So letting you know that you are absolutely enough. And stop underestimating yourself, because there are so many souls attached to your obedience. There are people attached to your testimony who you're going to help and you're going to impact. So don't underestimate yourself, and, start. Just start. I also say just start. When I started Faith and Fashion 360, it was on, you heard this at the Valentine's Day brunch, it was on a raggedy driveway with my greasy iPhone. And now I look back on that blog spot and it has over 100,000 views on it. So don't count yourself out. You are capable of so many things, and this is just the tip for you. And if they don't like it, that's all right. They just gonna have to watch you doing your thing on the screen. That's what I say too. That was a little bit of my flesh, but
Hey, I'm here for all of it, sis. And, I thank you for those encouraging words. And I also thank you for sharing that you were doing all of these things when you weren't necessarily feeling it. Right. And I know, look, right now, let's keep it real. I've been up since 3:30 this morning, doing this, doing that, work full day, had a meeting. Now I'm here loving on y'all. So do it, y'all. Do it tired. Those of you who are in the group, you saw that was a word I released a couple of days ago. Do it tired. Do it afraid. Do it with limited funds. But most importantly, do it with faith and just do it.
Do it a little thick,
Yeah, everything that we do starts out as the size of a mustard seed, and that's all we need. Especially, as all three of us can attest, as we've included God in our business plan, we know that nothing is impossible for us. So I want to go ahead and keep it moving. You mentioned the Valentine's Day brunch that you recently hosted at the Ann Pole Selfie Salon in the Lehigh Valley Mall located in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I want to go ahead and put a pin in it right here because God just gave me my super fan out shout out for tonight. I want to go ahead and give a super fan out shout out to one of my greatest spiritual supporters. I promise you, every single time I run into this woman of God, she washes me with so much wisdom, whether it be my spiritual walk or whether it be my business prowess. I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out and acknowledge Pastor Donna Davis Johnson. She's actually Pastor Phil's sister, who is actually the chief, the pastor at our local faith community. And we just want to go ahead and say thank you so much for always opening your doors to all that we do within the creative community here in the Lehigh Valley. You've provided us with bling t-shirts and a representation of beauty that's all your own for so many years, Pastor Donna. We just want to take the time right now to go ahead and celebrate you. So at the Galentine's Day celebration, Bree, you assembled some powerful women. You have a heart for women as far as connecting them. And did you have anyone mentoring you along the way that gave you guidance on exactly how to knit these women so finely together?
I definitely had a mentor. I do have a business coach that I have hired at the top of 2023. But as far as knitting together, I think one of the things I truly do before I go into an event is definitely prayer, even, within the planning. And just having to, get to know the women that I had on the panel. I've worked with them professionally. Charisma, who actually was a life coach all the way at the other end, Charisma Page. I knew her prior to Faith and Fashion 360 being what it is. So just knowing her from a personal standpoint and me growing into the woman I am.
Let the baby sit there. Bring her in. We might want to talk to her too.
The hair. Next time we.
All right, I got you.
So really just getting an opportunity to work with the women in a professional capacity and also knowing them on a personal capacity, I knew that they would blend just because I know a lot of their, their mission statements, their temperaments, their personalities, what they stand for, the things that they've been through in business and to get where they are. I knew that it was going to, weave together a really good story, even if those weren't, the exact same path. But knowing that these are people who really poured some blood, sweat, and tears into what they've done, and have done so with so much grace, even though, things have not always been easy.
Hi.
She was hilarious. So that I...
Y'all, this is what I need you to know.
No, okay.
Appreciate it.
Look, Tilted Halo love the kids, okay? I will always stop for the babies. Karen, do you have another question for our guest tonight?
I love the way that this kind of went, but I want to talk about, where I love that we've got real life moments, because many of our folks who are listening to us, they know that not only are we on the top of keeping it real, but to celebrate real life. So can you tell us or our listeners, how you juggle with being a mom, being a fashion icon, an entrepreneur, many different titles with grace, and hopefully maybe some tips on how to sleep in between.
I actually feel like, so if I've been doing this faithfully since 2016, I actually feel like I only just hammered down the juggling, because I've only been a new mom for 2 years. So add that into, other things kind of going on, coupled in with grief and stuff like that. I think that it is important to do what you can and leave the rest. I think it's important to know your capabilities from season to season. So not feeling like you got to pile all of this stuff onto your plate and then only half deliver it. Because I definitely think that, when you sign on to something, when you're doing something, doing so in excellence is necessary. So if you're ever feeling like your yay should be a nay, go with the nay and circle back and come back, and don't feel weak about that. Don't feel like you are unable to juggle. just know that things happen in the time that it should happen. Speaking just earthly, having a supportive family is so wonderful. I thank God for my husband, who is like Mr. Dad. I call him that all the time. He gonna take this baby whenever. He's like, yeah, go ahead. It's fine. So, you know, I really thank God for him and my mother-in-law, who are very, very supportive. So yeah, I just say, you know, don't feel bad when you are, you know, having to turn some things away. Be very intentional about all of the things you sign up for. I think in 2021, I was piling too much stuff on my plate, and I did not have a big enough appetite to accommodate all of those things. So in 2022, I said a lot of no. And that, you know, revealed a lot about relationships. It revealed a lot about, you know, different boundaries that I had to put forth in my life, but they were necessary in order for me to move in excellence in 2023. So that's what I was saying. As far as sleep, I don't know, Karen. I don't know about the sleep. Still working on the sleep.
I feel like I'm just catching up, and my babies are pushing 30. That's all I got to say on that. Yeah. So I you know, and that as we sit back, we don't see your little one, but we hear a little boss queen in the back there. So I'm gonna ask one more question. If there is one lesson that you would want your baby to learn, or glean from all of the work that you're putting in, what might be that you hope to, I know it's many that one thing that might be the most important that you want your baby to know?
I think one of the things I say too, you know, even though, you know, typically she is not present with me for certain things, when I'm recording podcasts, when I'm you know, doing interviews and stuff, she's right there in the background. And I think it's important to allow your lineage to see what you're doing. You know, oftentimes we want to pack them away, close the door, you know, I try to do the interview in the closet and things like that. But I think that there is such power in being transparent about what your real life looks like. You know, because people trust that message. People trust that when you're like, okay, I'm gonna style you and I'm gonna get you together, but I got this baby in the background and I got some mashed potatoes that I need to get. So, you know, I think it's just so important to show that you're not a robot, that you are, you're a machine in your own right, but you have thoughts, you have feelings, you have times where you may misstep. And I think that that's why it's so important to be intentional about your clients, be intentional about the people that you have around you, the people that you have at your events, because your true network and the people that you truly are meant to connect with will understand that.
I know that's right. And thank you so much for sharing those powerful words of wisdom, because you just dropped mad nuggets. You really did.
Yeah, listen.
And you know, you reinforced for me personally something that I speak over myself and I often share with others when I'm in a training capacity. I often remind young women in particular, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Because Rome was not built in a day, but when it was complete, it's been remembered as a splendid finished work.
Right.
And, you know, greatness takes time and it does not happen overnight. So speaking of greatness and things that are happening overnight, we just sprung into spring. And you keep us on trend. Oh, at least I know you keep me on trend, because I keep watching. I'm like, okay, I could give him a little shoulder action this season.
Shoulder, did you get your ebook?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I give him a little shoulder action. Yes. And I noticed that you actually have a style special situation going on. Girl, shoot your shot. Go ahead.
do. So there's two ways. There's two ways to get connected, two ways to get your best style life. I have Faith and Fashion 360, the membership, which is an online community. It's pretty, low touch, but it really is just more of like a nice membership feel. You get some lookbooks, you get some exclusive interviews through Faith and Fashion 360. You also get shopping discounts. As a plus size model and a content creator influencer, I get access to a lot of discounts. I mean, they be trying to get y'all 20, 25, 35% off. So I share those also with my network as well. In addition to, events similar to Valentine's Day, we have a couple of VIP events coming up as well, helping people get their photo, their brand shoots and their business and things together. Because that's one of the things I truly wish I had when I was like, and I did have it, but I also feel like people didn't 100% know, that I was like knee deep in the business. So really, culminating a place where people can support one another is necessary. And then I also have the Style Your Stage Intensive, which is specifically for entrepreneurs, bosspreneurs, corporate employees who are looking to find their aesthetic. So that really is like people who have a bunch of events, speaking engagements, networking engagements throughout the month, and you're like, I feel like I'm wearing the same thing each and every time. So really what I do within that intensive is help people find their style aesthetic. So what that means for you, not what that means for me. Not what that, you ain't got to be in heels. You don't have to be in, that's one of the first things I say, because people, make the assumption that, okay, well, you dressed up. So I don't know if we really gonna, we will, because I want to know what your day-to-day looks like, what feels comfortable for you, because it's important for you to feel good for you. So those are two membership communities, two intensives that I have going on right now for Faith and Fashion 360. I'll post them like in the comments once we're, I'll get you guys the link. But definitely right now I have a free spring lookbook, because we're getting ready for the spring. That's what Nikita was talking about. We're talking about the off the shoulder trend. So there's actually a couple of free lookbooks in there, so you'll get an idea of the kind of lookbook flat lays that I provide as part of the membership as well. And that is completely free. You just got to join my mailing list.
I know that's right. Look, I look forward to getting the emails that you send.
Thank you.
Because they remind me that it is perfectly okay for me to be fabulous and fierce in the name of the Lord. Okay.
Fly, fierce, and of the Lord. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because he made me fearfully and wonderfully. So what? They about to get all this cute.
Yes.
How about that?
All of it.
I love it.
So look, you've walked on many stages.
Yes.
You've walked on many stages, Bree. Do you have one standout model moment?
Ooh. I'm gonna say like my return to modeling for sure. That was back. That was around the same time, maybe like 2017, beginning of 2017 for Lehigh Valley Fashion Week. So at the time, there was not a huge demographic of plus size models. There were maybe like 4 or 5 of us. And I was still so uncomfortable. It was still so foreign to me. I've modeled before, but doing that at a time where I was not 100% feeling it, there was just something so powerful in that moment. I didn't feel it at the time. I feel it now. But at the time, it was like, you can do this. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Forget who said, anything to the left, who said anything opposite. So that first time back on the runway definitely was something that I truly remember. A close second would be on the stages of Miss Fashion Week when I was like participating in pageants. That was also that was a different kind of stage. So those definitely are like my top 2.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And for those of you who have tuned in, you've tuned in to Unhinged Live. I'm your host, Tylted Halo, sitting alongside my good girlfriend, Karen Sims of Twisted Thread, and the absolutely stunning Miss Brieana Ofusu of Faith and Fashion 360. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I don't want to hold you because it seemed like your little queen needs all of her mama's attention. So before we let you go and head to a break, how can our listeners connect with you?
Absolutely. So you can go ahead and follow me right on Facebook. You will find my digital business card as well as my link tree, which has all of my social media there. I try to make it easy because there's a lot. I'm on Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Got a couple Instagrams. There you go. There it is. So you'll find all of so many. There really is, and I had to figure out how to condense them because there's just a lot of places. So, tap on that. You will find any pertinent links. There's a couple of 20% off discounts on there as well. All of my social media, and a couple other goodies too.
All right. So thank you again for joining us. We're about to take a little break. As Brieana leaves the stage, thank you again for gracing us, and we're gonna connect again soon, I'm sure.
Of course,
there's a lot going on. We finna be outside too.
We gonna be outside. It's getting hot. You see, I got the new hairdo. I'm ready.
Yes. She ready.
Thank you so much, ladies.
You're welcome. I'll see you soon,
sweetheart.
Have a good one.
All right. Kara, wasn't that awesome?
That was super awesome. Absolutely awesome. I love it when we have special guests, and I love it when we have real life because, we come in here and a lot of times people think that their aspirations are honorable because it's like, but I've got this and I've got that. And listen, we gonna juggle right along with you. That's so whatever there is an opportunity for you to do it. So I love it. Just a wonderful introduction to Bree. I know we are going to see and hear more from her as our tribe family goes ahead on her social media pages and connect with her and see what is going on outside that part.
Girl, and because we really getting ready to start going outside a whole lot more often, because God knows I sat outside and enjoyed lunch in the springtime weather today. I know I'm looking forward to attending some outdoor music festivals.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do right now, Karen, what you putting your DJ hat on right now for me?
I stay in the DJ booth. Listen, anytime we got an opportunity to introduce or share, because a lot of times, you all who are part of our tribe family, we're celebrating people one person at a time because we want everybody to have their full platform or time on the platform. But we got a lot of talented folks who we are connected with, and so we love it when we get the opportunity to kind of get some new things out there. So we got a new music project, and I don't know, Tilted, you might want to give an intro on this while I start pressing some DJ buttons, but I'm gonna let you say what you're gonna say before I get into full DJ, because once I start DJ, I'd like kind of just take over the whole screen and ain't nobody else gonna be able to do nothing. So,
and I'm gonna be off on the side, rocking out and shoulder shaking. Y'all, again, you about to enjoy a wonderful music break. I'm actually blessed to be able to present to you the latest release by my brother and friend, Walt Leon, an artist out of Virginia. Now, I had the opportunity to meet him years ago at a Red Ink event that we were hosting in the community. And I actually took the time to learn the line dance that he created himself. I chose not to play that song, but just watch, because y'all know I ain't got no sense. Tonight, give me your ear as you are blessed by DJ Twisted Threads. The title of the song is Protect Us from Evil by none other than Walt Leon himself. Y'all gonna meet him soon on the platform. Get it, DJ.
Here we go.
And lots of love. May He protect us from the evil. Into the king. Lots of love. May He protect us from evil.
Heavenly Father, I know you're watching over us, protecting us from the hurt, harm, and the dangerous. It's like we kids and you always want to play with us, because when we try to run, you just always seem to stay with us. You could have ran when they all tried to spank you. Instead, you were a man. I just want to thank you. See, this is where the irony begins. They beat you from the start, but you won in the end. Cause when we clean blood, we put Clorox in, but we use your blood to Clorox in. I understand that you stand over us, cause even when you died, you were hung higher than all of us. I take it personal. For me, you were crucified. If it made the news, they would call it hate crimes. The first 48 would even call it homicide. But we know you did it to protect them and I.
Hail to the King, and lots of love. May He protect us from the evil. Hail to the King, lots of love. May He protect us from evil.
I know we make you mad most of the time, cause 10% isn't much and we give you 5. I'm talking time, I'm not talking about time. 24 hours in the day, 2.4 go to God. He cheer us on every day, time and time again. A loyal man, he stay with us through the thick and thin. We let you down over and over again, and you still believe in us like a Commanders fan. Some of us only pray when situations hurting us. Some of us only go to church for holiday services. See, I was blessed not to have a speech impediment, so I praise God at the end of all my sentences. But it's like I stutter when I'm asking for forgiveness. It seems like I keep sinning, but He keeps forgiving it. You should take it personal. For you, He was crucified. Now we all know He did it to protect you and I.
Hail to the King, and lots of love. May He protect us from the evil. Lots of love. May He protect us from evil. Hail to the King, and lots of love. May He protect us from the evil. Hail to the King, lots of love. May He protect us from evil.
All right. Listen.
Yay! Y'all know I like my Caribbean vibes, right?
Yes.
Yes. So welcome back. Y'all are tuned in to Unhinged Live. I'm Tilted Halo, sitting alongside Karen Sims of Twisted Threads. We're about to continue this conversation on tonight. Man, I'm like fully energetic, despite how tired I really am, Karen. So
I love it.
You know, hey, I just got to, we keep it real over here. I need a nap at all times. So it is what it is. I'm about to pick up my remote control after my shoulder shake.
Okay.
It is time for us to go. You ready? We're
ready.
going, and it's time to point your remote control at your TV screen. Merrily, find something to stream. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's time for the segment, y'all. We get to talk about what we've been binge watching, what we've been listening to over and over again, getting it embedded in our soul to make us better, because we always have room to grow. That's why we utilize the audio book avenue to read when we don't necessarily have time to sit and be still in just a movie or a series. So Karen,
yes,
what you been watching?
ma'am.
Outside of the road and
That part. Well, we're gonna get into that because this trip I actually was up in the French skies. So we did some flying and because it was near birthday time, I went ahead and flew myself back first class. That part.
She flew herself out, y'all. She flew herself out.
You just got to do it for yourself. Hello. Listen, they only know how to treat you while watching. They learn how to treat you while watching. That's a whole other thought. But listen, it's in line with this show that I was watching with the little bit of spare time that I had this week, and it's called Unprisoned. And it's on one of the streaming channels. I ain't gonna tell you which one. Y'all go ahead and find it because they're not paying us yet. Okay. But with this, these are our good friends, Kerry Washington and Delroy Lindo. I think it's how you pronounce his last name.
Yup, that's Mr. Lindo. Mm-hmm.
Powerhouse. That's all I can say. Like powerhouse acting in this, and a hot mess. Can we just say? I'm just gonna put it right. A hot mess, but in a really, really well written way. That is a career criminal just getting unprisoned. So literally just released from prison after pretty much a whole lifetime of being behind bars. And we see parenting issues, we see relationship issues, we see Kerry Washington literally being a hot mess, and we love her as an actress, but the storyline so deep, and I guess it was the whole first season. I didn't mean to, but I was doing show to show, and then we watched a couple more shows, and then it was over. But it unpacked a lot of things, relationship challenges that come up, situations that when left unresolved, whether it's daddy issues, mommy issues, money issues, trust issues, and how they show up and get in the way of good. I think that's the best way to put it. Portions of the storyline, and I want us to get into this because it was a new terminology for me, and that is negressing.
The who?
Never heard of it in my life. I've been black my whole life. Let me just qualify myself. I've been black my whole life, 50 years to be exact. Black my entire life, honey. This is the first time that I heard of the word negressence. Okay. And so let me tell you what this is.
I got to use that, negressence. Thank you.
Okay, listen. It is a word with a Latin origin. It describes the process of either becoming Black or developing your racial identity. And so it usually, like, they put it forth for African American. I don't know if it goes anywhere else, but it's sort of like when we think about negressence, it extends through history, impacts those victimized by racism and white supremacy. Recent psychological adaptations and instigated identity formations for persons of African American descent. So when we think about what defines our Blackness, and I think that when we how things are going from like 2020 to now. So let's just take the last 3 years as if we ain't been living this our entire life, okay? Even if we just took these last 3 years, I'm going to say the last 5 years, where a lot of people may have come aboard and asked the question, what does it mean to be Black? Am I Black enough? Have I gone through whatever racial awakening that's usually required for you to understand your personal identity in regards to your racial background? So what is that racial background of your family? I love it because in this show, Kerry Washington, I guess her husband was white. They have and here's the terminology that somebody said to me, and I'm adopting it. No longer calling people mixed because it's mixed up. But I love the terminology that one of my newly found colleagues mentioned to me, and it's blended. And I was like, I like that a little bit better because when you blend stuff, it's a little bit more smoother. It don't seem like things just
blended,
kind of way.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Got a blended son. got a blended son. He was introduced to some real soul food, and he's like, "Mama, your food don't taste like this. Like this is good. Could we take some back home with us? Can I eat all of the collard greens, all of the cornbread? Mama, your food not taste like this. Why?" And and it's funny because they consider this a comedy, so they talk. Oh, because we want to get away from hypertension and we don't want, we want food to kind of sustain us but not kill us. I'm here for it all. But I love it because they used his kind of journey and awakenness to push forward this term negrescence. And so he understood that he's blended. So got a black background. I don't know what the white background was. I think Scandinavian or something. I'm not sure. Not discrediting that part of him, but he was being put into the sense. And so they break it down as part of the series. Like, I think it's like 4 or 5 steps of what you go through when you're going through this negrescence, and it's like stages of negrescence. I love it because I enjoyed it. Let me just say it. Okay, so the 5 stages, y'all, you never know where learning is going to occur, and this is the reason why we do this merrily down the stream. So I'm gonna give you this, and then I'm gonna jump off this soapbox. But here's the 5 stages of negression. Pre-encounter. So like, that you are ready to go into encounter something about your blackness that's going to give you an awakening. Then you have the actual encounter, and that's like, okay, now I know that I'm black. I still don't really know what that means, but I know that I'm black. Then you get into the immersion. So literally the way that they kind of say it's like you now are having experience it. So that whole, like him eating the cornbread, I believe was that level of it. But it was so crazy because then there's more steps. Because after you go through the immersion, where it's kind of like in the immersion section, you draw away from any other identities and you are only focused on your black racial identity. So it dominates everything else. Doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, we focusing on black. Doesn't matter if you up or down, sexual identity, none of that matters. Only thing that matters is I am black. And I want to push into the black music, black clothes, black speaking,
Black
the
food.
bonics, whatever. Then the immersion. So we got immersion with the I. Then we got the immersion where it's like, you know what? Now I'm accepting that there are multiple ways for me to be black. Like I'm in it. I got the hair, my afro is kicking. My clothes make me look like I'm black enough. All of these things. But a person might begin to redevelop relationships because it's literally like I'm thinking about, wow, that's my black mother. That's my black father. That's my black sister. So black everything, literally in that moment. And then the internalization as part of and during this stage, you kind of go a little bit of a battle with your old self and your new emergent self, but there's a resolution that's resolved in between the two of them. Because at this internalization stage, you have decided, you know what, I'm black enough. Be more black. Maybe I can celebrate more things connected to my racial identity, but I'm black enough. So they might adapt a more nuanced kind of definition of blackness because now you got a little bit more knowledge. Like it wasn't just like, well, I'm black because my mother's black, or I'm black because my father's black, I'm black because my neighbors are black. You got a reason. And now when you get to this internalization, that person's values and cultural style are rooted in a more informed kind of awakening of African-American heritage and history. I promise you, the they did it, it was funny, it was comical, but you were learning something that you didn't even know. And I'm sitting here like, wow, oh my goodness. Usually my shows I don't get that dramatic, but strength when I'm merrily down. And so I took some time to kind of dig in, as y'all could tell. I took some time to dig in a little bit more. I was like, wait a minute, what is that? What? Did y'all, because y'all know creative license, they could make up stuff. Okay, this could be fake news. So we watching stuff in the sense of this is supposed to be fiction. I was expecting fiction and comedy because they were funny. Oh my goodness, they were funny. Daddy was a mess. He had a girlfriend that he left the child with, and she had foster parents, and then she had another foster sister that they were close, and they were trying to also kind of highlight what does it mean to be normal. Meanwhile, with all of this going on, Kerry Washington characters named Paige. Paige is an Instagram digital, creator that gives people relationship advice while her life is all jacked up. Listen, if this ain't real, I don't know what it is. Cause I sat here like, yes, Lord, because this is what it is. Y'all gonna get these reflections of purpose. Meanwhile, I'm working on some stuff over here. I can say thank the Lord that I don't have that type of mess, but I learned something. So that was a surprise to me. I was just gonna be me merrily down the stream, and I was gonna binge watch. Who knew I would be Wikipedia in after the binge was done? So Negressence, there y'all go. Don't y'all say y'all ain't learned nothing when y'all coming over here over on our Tilted Unhinged. Listen, that's what I got for that there. So go ahead on there. I digress. It's a good show, definitely for the adult watchers only. Lot of bad words. Lord have mercy. So many bad words. So many bad words.
Listen,
I need to bless the water, Lord. But Delroy
I'm dripping in Negressence.
I love it.
Did I use that properly?
I think you did though. It really
did. I body that? Okay.
About your blackness. Talks about your blackness. So
I'm dripping in Negressence. Negressence is all around me.
Listen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't get me started. Anyway, listen. Thank you so much. I got to check that out. Of course, this week I took a little bit of time to go ahead and give myself a cocaine bear chaser. I needed something to take me out of the land of foolery that I enjoyed in our previous broadcast. So I actually started watching Swarm. That's on one of these streaming networks that I pay for. Now Swarm, the lead character in this piece, Swarm. About 10 episodes in this series. It's a Beyonce-like character, right? And the feature character here in this storyline is like a super fan. You know how Beyonce has the Beehive. So for this particular tale, Nyjah, the Beyonce type character, her fans are referred to as the Swarm. Okay. And you watch this one particular super fan, okay? She spends a lot of her life online, celebrating the queen that is Nyjah. Her music is everything. She is a goddess. She is here to save us through her lyrical prowess. All of the things associated with iconic level superstardom. So we see this young woman who displays behaviors. She looks like she's somewhat of an introvert, seemingly socially awkward. But you mentioned Queen Nyjah, baby, she lights up a room. Everything she speaks, she's incorporated Nyjah's lyrics into her words. And then, baby, I don't know what happened. Sis snapped. She paid $1,800 for some tickets to go see this concert, put it on her Discover card. And then next thing you know, I don't know, you start to hear the buzzing and you see her all over the internet and she's trolling people. She's finding the people that have said anything negative about Nyjah. And what we get to see is this beautiful young Black queen take a road trip killing up people because they posted something bad about Queen Nyjah. Now, I have to be honest, I'm only about halfway through this binge, but I'm telling you, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And, of course, I got to do a great tie-in here. I'm enjoying it because of the lead actress. this young sister is doing it, and she's giving me Angela Bassett type vibes. Yeah, I want to go ahead and shout out Dominique Fishback. Yeah, she playing the mess out of this role in Swarm. Okay, now I'm looking at her. I was like, wait a minute, I keep seeing her and stuff. So I decided to let my fingers do the walking so I could find out how long she's actually been in the acting game. And I see Siston showed up. She's been around since about 2015, if not sooner. As far as screen work is concerned. Now, most recently, some of y'all may have become familiar with this young lady's work in the last days of Salome Gray, which was actually streaming on Apple TV. That was an excellent series. Check her out. If you on the Netflixerations, you might be familiar with the work she did alongside Howard, that was very popular during the early days of the pandemic shutdown. She also played the love interest of one of our most famous activists in Judas and the Black Messiah. So I see this young lady's diversity on screen. You know, she played a teenager in Power, and she did that thing. She was slick and street smart, but she did that thing. We saw her love on, you know, her man in Judas and the Black Messiah. And she, you know, she stayed 10 toes down for her man, you know, even as they went through the trials and tribulations that come along with living a life of protest and speaking truth to power when it wasn't necessarily popular during, you know, the most heated days of race relations here in the country. So yeah, I want to bring it back to Dominique Fishback. Y'all remember her name. She gonna be around for a while. Like I said, sis is giving me Angela Bassett vibes. And I just hope and pray that she is celebrated a whole heck of a lot sooner than they even try to acknowledge some of our chocolate queens that have been on the scene and still haven't reaped their just rewards. So allow me to digress up off that. I've also stumbled upon a dance show, and this is not something I typically really get into because everything is just like, seems like it's been done before. But I stumbled on a new dance show called Dance 100. And it's featuring some up and coming choreographers who are getting their chance to showcase their individuality through the choreography that they're, you know, developing for 100 dancers in a very, very, very clever way throughout the course of this series. If my niece, you know, or like 20 years younger, I might shoot my shot and try and do some of them wonderful moves that the choreographers are, you know, are doing on this show. But again, it's on one of them streaming networks. I'm not gonna call their name because they ain't paying us yet. But check it out. That's another something that you can find yourself enjoying if you want to take your mind off of some of this fake news that's in the streets. Go on and entertain yourself with something that we know is being presented as fiction, as opposed to something being shoved down your throat that the media is trying to, you know, describe as fake news. Y'all know I'm finna be real petty, right? Yeah, so we about this transition. I know I ain't saying nothing about the petty pew tonight, Karen, but you know, I'm finna be petty because I can. You want to ride with me tonight?
It could always be whatever. You already know.
Girl, look, I had said at the top of the show I have an attitude problem today because it is just so much going on. And I just have one question for you, Karen.
Yes.
Because I'm in my house hunkered down just in case they start acting crazy in these streets. Did they arrest the former president yet? It's Tuesday.
Well, two things, because I don't believe that anybody has been arrested, but from what I understand, nobody else has protested or rioted.
Okay.
So those are the two things. If we gonna, you know, break down into this new season of selective outrage,
girl.
Yeah, I don't believe, hold on, because I get my news reports. I'm gonna go check my news reports, see if anything new has come up and no, and no, no, and I ain't seen no presidents being no. So that's just
Right. See, I'm glad you broke that down and highlighted that these are two separate pieces here. That latter part that you spoke of, that ain't nobody been out there protesting. But por qué why? Aren't we still finishing up the January 6th committee meetings and hearings? And here we are again, finding our former sitting president encouraging his supporters and followers to go ahead and protest. Now, if their protest-like behavior mimics anything like we saw a couple years back, we already know that this is something that does not need to happen. So I don't know if I'm necessarily being petty in this moment or if I'm just seizing the opportunity to just say what I'm really feeling. What I'm really feeling is, Donald Trump, we cool. I ain't got no beef with you because I don't even know you, all right? And my pockets ain't long enough for me to even take advantage of a lot of the magnificent tax information you have shared with some large-scale business owners. But, sir,
stay tuned.
I understand you're interested in running for re-election, and I'm not against it. But, sir, right now I need you to have several seats. And really, really, really take some time to think about the fuel you're pouring on a fire that you cannot necessarily control. Brother man, I need you to have several seats because I am so tired of having people make assumptions, even in their own personal selective outrage, about what someone might be thinking or about what someone or how they might actually behave simply because of what they look like or simply because of what they sound like. Yeah, excellent way to tie this into me having my moment, Karen. We're about to get into it. What's really going on? Hey. What's really going on?
What's really on?
What's really going on?
What's really going on and on and on and on and on.
On and on and on and on and oh.
What's really going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just heard the show.
No, for real, we're gonna get the theme music for this.
Listen, selective. You saw I wrote that there, Karen. Because I'm like, I'm not over it yet. All of this selective outrage, and the term has really again been brought to the forefront by the recent comedy special brought to us by none other than Chris Rock, where he took the opportunity to finally speak on the slap heard around the world, slap that we're still reeling in the repercussions of. He brought forth the term selective outrage when he was, discussing his experience during Slapgate 2022. Listen.
Yes.
I'm curious because you're a whole coach, and I always need your help, Karen, to help me unpack what is happening. We got the selective outrage. How is that connected with our own personal biases? Now, before we really get into it, for those of y'all who are tuning in, I'm gonna tell you I know I'll be having some biases just simply because I'm Black. And and transparency has always been my thing. I don't always think the way some Black folks think I should think, because I have some extremely conservative values. However, I again know that I have certain inherent biases simply because I'm Black and because of the things I've been exposed to within my cultural setting. So can we have a conversation about some things that we could possibly do to first help identify it in ourselves, Karen? Can we? How do we get more
So
honest
y'all
about
know I do this all day. Y'all know I do this all day in real life. I am a DEI practitioner, you know, a passionate volunteer on most days, but this is real to me because I'm gonna just kind of things. So, dear Tilted, usually bias shows up not just because we're Black, because we're women, because of the socioeconomic status that we hold, because of the music that we listen to, because of the culture that we know versus what other people know, because we see ourselves in certain aspects of conservative and we may be radical in other areas. So there are so many different points of bias that comes in. It's more than tomato versus tomato. But how do we address our biases? Well, usually that takes some that requires us taking time to say, all right, where does Karen's preference? Because first you got to identify your preference. There are preferences that we have. I would rather not. I wish you would, I wish you would not. There are buckets and columns, check boxes, however you want to put it and break it down. And then you get the opportunity to kind of, it's almost very similar to the negressence, but not just related to your definition of your Blackness. I say your definition of your Blackness because your definition is probably not going to match mine line by line. We're going to have something that's different. We're going to have something with two Black women. We got similar things. We're both glamours. We are both queen ages. And even in that, there are certain biases that is going to show up because of different lived experiences. You know, you always talk about your bi-coastal raising and being on the East Coast and West Coast. Honey, I've been all up and down this coast, but I'm only East Coast. So that experience comes up with biases maybe you would not have. The thing is that I love how Chris presented the selective outrage because he put it in the sense of, and I think we talked a little bit about it, of, you know, we want to cancel R. Kelly, but we don't want to cancel Michael Jackson. Same crime. And, you know, I felt personally attacked. I'm just going to put that out there. However, with that, it's sort of like, yeah, but that's better music. Or do you have, I love it because now I can't a couple, but the one woman, it's a comedy couple. The dude that plays on Sisters, him and his actual wife. She's like, I want to go see Beyonce. He was like, ain't nobody gonna see no Beyonce for that kind of money. You not going. Now they are, you know, comfortable, so they might be able to afford to sit in the nosebleed seats, whereas we waiting for the DVD. I'm waiting for the entire streaming service to come out. That's the only way I'm gonna see B. Okay, but with that, they had an argument on, he feels like the music of Michael Jackson is better than that of Beyonce, and they was going head to head. He was like, I'm about to put this woman out because she telling me Beyonce is better than Michael Jackson. We're making light of how deep the biases go in. But even the conversations that we have about, was it an insurrection? Was it, you know, what was it that these people were doing at the Capitol on January 6th? And we're digging ourselves into a deeper hole because we saw how this happened. Now here's the hole. The goofballs that thought they was going to be protected, we're hoping that they don't do stupid things to cause them to be hanging out there by themselves. Okay, I can't put it no. Y'all ain't got no money. You out here thinking that you protected. It didn't matter whether you was Black or white. Please understand, we're not discriminating. If you Black and you was out there, you need an altar. If you is white and you was out there, baby, you altar too. If you was Hispanic, Asian, any type of minority, altar, here y'all go. We need y'all to flood, get the one that go around in the circle, so that we gonna have the prayer warriors on it with y'all. We ain't gonna have enough purple rags for y'all, but y'all gonna need it. Don't show up for this one, because y'all already see how this went down. The people with money got to be some things. The people with no money, where they at? Honey, they got charged. They behind bars. They trying to figure out how they can mortgage their house so that they ain't homeless. They done lost their jobs. Don't be in that number. You know, we go back to that lesson that we used to learn. You know, everybody ain't your friend. Cut it out. Don't do this again. Don't do this again. That's all I say for that. Now, on the flip side of who all can benefit from the Trump style, I got to make one correction, because if you own a business, you closer to the bag than you think. Now, if you don't own no business, this conversation ain't for you. Before he got in the office the first time, whatever year that was, I was like, everybody go start a business. Why? Because Trump don't care nothing about somebody who's not a business owner. Now, he did get caught up on game because he like, oh, wait, these small businesses going to benefit from this too. Wait a minute, we got to change the rules. But there are still benefits to being a business owner that he never even thought about. You got to be in the number. Even if you taking the last seat in the back, you in the number as a business owner. Now, we're going to have other conversations with that. Then you go with the you know, with the bias. We all have them. We all know them. Ketchup or mustard. I don't like cold ketchup versus hot ketchup, whatever. There's so many ways that biases come up, but we got to take the time to reflect on how is it affecting your everyday life, because you can have a bias and it not affect anything. If it shows up at the job, we got to be like, oh, okay, let me, you know, professional Keita got to come in. You know, Tilted might be able to go halfway, but professional got to come in and know the seasoned. I've seen you do it, so I know you can. I've seen you do it. Yes, I have.
Listen, you said something. You said something. That one word, you know, you use it every week. You said reflection.
Yes.
Reflecting.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, of course, because growth is every day. It's an ongoing thing with me. It's an ongoing thing with you. We trying to grow into the best versions of ourselves. You use the word reflections, and I like to refer to them, and you've heard me say it. I like to refer to them as mirror moments, when we just stand and really examine where some of our inherent behaviors come from, why it is we do what we do. Why do we all feel that our way is the only right way to get something done? When we find ourselves in those moments, I know for me personally, sometimes when I really sit down and really examine the thought and the behavior about myself that I'm really focused on, having those mirror moments really, again, causes me to be transparent and absolutely honest with myself. And just sometimes, as I'm putting on my eyebrows like I do every morning, you know, God be talking to me about what I see in my own eyes. And then it's in some of those moments when I have to tell myself that I'm absolutely jacked up, I'm wrong, and I need to change my ways and get better. And then again, really be intentional about considering others before myself. When you use the word reflection, I thought back to a recent session I was able to host within the United Christian Women's Fellowship Ministries, of which I do sit as vice president. I was able to host a getting to know you session with a few of the women on that night, and I posed a question to them as an icebreaker. Y'all know how I do. So, you know, you ever walk in a room full of women you ain't know, and you felt like you was being sized up like you was the newest T-bone steak on the block? Yeah. Really. We've all felt that way at some way, shape, or form at some point in our lives. I use that to tie it in with the scripture lessons that we would consider others before ourselves. So as we're walking around with our own personal biases, those of you in the listening audience, I want to go ahead and encourage you that as you're walking around with some of your personal biases and you assume that someone is a certain way because they're wearing their clothes a certain way, you assume they're this or that because they have locks in their hair. You assume that they're a certain way because they have blonde hair and blue eyes, or you assume they're a different way because they have a certain shade of melanated skin that is not necessarily associated with being African American. Baby, I'm gonna ask you to consider others before yourselves, because one thing I've learned over the years, especially building friendship bonds, is as I consider Karen one of my very best friends, I'm able to look at Karen and see a woman who may have the same experiences that I've had in the past. She might actually be standing in the space that I'm standing in at this very moment, the same space. Girl, you know that's done happened for us so many times over the years in these universes that we be living in. But yes, considering others before yourselves, or considering others as you consider yourself, I think it's something that could be pivotal in changing the work we can do personally without having to pay a professional, without having to sit in any 30-minute, 45-minute, or 60-minute session, to do the work ourselves of seeing our own stories, our own stories of overcoming.
Yes.
And someone that we don't know as we meet them for the first time. I think that in itself would change the energy that's being put out in the world. What do you think about that, Karen?
I love it. I love mirror moments. I love it. I love this entire conversation because, you know, it takes me back to the statement, and I say it often: to thine own self be true. That's a Shakespeare line. It is a line that a father is giving his son in direction. If we can't be real with ourselves, the world doesn't even matter. And so when it comes to whether it's mental health, whether it's just you trying to create stability in your own world, it could be personal relationships between you and your partner, you and your spouse, you and your boss. Yes, they're getting on your nerves, but take the time to reflect. Why are they getting up under your skin? Why is it that you are happy to be the first one there, but as soon as you get there, you ready to run back out? Listen, these things all take time. And the one thing that happens is that the more time you take to direct your focus on you, you will find you have less time to complain about other people, to not be in lane, to be over there in Miss Parker's garden, to be over there to see what Miss Mim or her man. You ain't got time for that when you're watering your own garden. And we used to say, but listen, if you look for drama, you're going to find it. That's just real life. You're going to find it. But if you are trying to, and we'll take it back to the biblical side, trying to live peaceably amongst men, you will find the opportunity for you to do that. Is real easy. It doesn't take a whole lot of shifting in your side. And then I know it was the other statement that you were talking about, Tilted, is really, you know, how do we show up? Like that's the baseline of it. How do you show up for yourself when you see so many different things going on, and you could get into any of it? You could. I'm gonna go over there, and sometimes with good intentions. I'm laughing as I'm saying this because it's like, oh, well, sis, tell me what's going on so I know how to pray for you. Or let me come over here and see what you got over there so I can help you with something. Like, we might see it as us having good intention, but we just being nosy. Half of us is the way that we do it. But I love this conversation. I love that we have the opportunity and understand, if you don't like what you see in the mirror, here's the biggest and the greatest part about the mirror moment. Change it. Change it. If I go in the mirror and I don't like this lipstick, we're gonna wipe it off and put something else on. I don't think my eyebrows defined enough. We're gonna paint some on. Y'all know, listen, okay, I ain't gonna tell all my sisters this, but my sister got, she got like, they like temporary tattoos that they like glue on. So she could glue on. You can glue on eyebrows. If you could glue on eyebrows, you literally could be whoever you want to be. Here, that part. But I love that question where you say, Tilted, have you ever walked in a room and felt like you were being sized up? And I wonder how many people are aware enough to be able to say yes. Like, I'm walking in the room, I don't care. Hey y'all, hey! I'm making noise before you, like, who that is. Y'all know she must know something about herself because she came through with the flower. She got her Lawson accessory earrings. She coming through, not sitting shy. Now, not to say that you can walk into every room, like, peep in the room, who all over there. And then you walk in there and you let them know, listen, I know I have authority when I walk up in these rooms. And so I'm walking in the authority that has been given to me, that I don't have to shrink down, that I can in front of a mirror and say I'm more than enough and be okay with that. Because that's a power to say, I am enough. Like literally, if we sat here and we said I am enough 20 times, one of us, okay, both crying. And it's because the statement is powerful and it's triggering and it's deep all at the same time. I know y'all came here only for the laughs, but you're gonna get this master life coach no matter whether you want to or not.
Girl?
We're gonna get our moments. So I hope, Tilted, I hope that the adjustments of your halo were just enough. You did a little tilted, but I hope that they were just so that we still are on this ride to be able to share the joy tsunami and all of the glitter that the people is here for.
Yes, Hunty, yes, you have definitely adjusted my halo, but of course we got to keep it on tilt because I got too much swag for my halo to be on straight. And we're talking about y'all coming over here and enjoying the laughs and the information that we share. I got some news to share, Karen. I got news to share. I've been working on something. Y'all know Karen is my goal coach as well. So we had a session a couple years ago, and we had laid some things out. But then I went through the season of loss and, being pieced back together again. And then coming back and owning my power. Check it out. Sis, can you celebrate with me? And those of you in the listening audience, I've completed leg number 1 of 4 out of achieving my own goal of becoming a certified master life coach. I purchased that training program just before my mother passed away and just did not have the mental or spiritual capacity to see it through at that point. But I figured I purchased it. I have the right to put a pin in it and come back to it and complete it when I am ready. So Brieana spoke ever so prophetically at the top of this show. When she, of course, encouraged the listeners to just go ahead. If you don't get it done right away, well, you can still do it. And then we tagged on to that, be mindful to showing yourself grace. And I've mastered showing myself grace over the course of 2 years and not holding myself so tight to my schedule, my plans, because we know what God does when you give him your own personal plans. So right now, I don't necessarily know if I need to go much further. I'm gonna complete it just because I paid my money. But I'm a certified purpose coach at this point. Go on, clap it up for me. I'm patting myself on the back. Y'all ever do that?
That church clap for you. Listen.
Yeah.
We
I did that.
We have to get into this.
I did that, Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. And I don't always be sleep, y'all. I tell y'all I'm taking a nap. That just means I'm off the grid because I got some things that I need to handle for me.
Well.
Yeah, I had to put my own truth out there. I don't believe I just told y'all that, but on Sunday afternoon, it is definitely a nap happening. Just know that after church nap, it hit different, and I need that. All right, but yeah, I'm not always napping. I truly have gotten to a space in my life where I'm seizing every moment and making them count. I guess which is in total alignment with me getting that purpose certification first. Because again, all about purpose. And me again in my personal life, if it don't serve no purpose, I always question what am I here for? What am I doing this for? So yeah, we got things to do, Karen. You already know what it is. We building, we growing, and we've already done dropped some nuggets about the vision that I have about where we're about to take Unhinged Live. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and toss the mic back to my sister. Just so much wisdom. She's radiant, y'all. I see a different shade on her countenance. But I know that is actually the glory of the Lord that is yet upon thee, my sister, as you continue to share with us the experience that you're walking through with your ray of sunshine. Yeah. So without further ado, we're not going to stall it out much longer. Y'all are about to receive yet another insightful, empowering, impactful reflection of purpose from none other than our very own in-house, certified master life coach, Karen Sims of Twisted Threads. Yes, I bow, sister, because you're worthy of the honor.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory. Listen, one of the things that, and this is the continued conversation, because it was something deep that happened over this past week, and for the past, I want to say like 39 days. Tomorrow will be 40 days, I think, since this episode, this bump in the journey with my son. And for those of you who don't know, he had a stroke, age 32, and so all of the things that you can imagine about a mama, be like, don't need for that. Like, call me for the cake, don't call me for that. And I had to take a moment. And so, as always, this is a purpose or title. And this one is entitled Unpacking. And so over the past week, it's been a lot of unpacking, because not only in the midst of this past week was I going to visit him, but I celebrated my 50th birthday. Yes, y'all, the Queen Asia is official. And in that time, there's so much I had the opportunity to really think about, like, Lord, you've allowed me to be this and this and this and this to so many people. When I tell you across the globe, I mean literally across the globe. We are global in some different areas, and it wasn't I thought of. It wasn't anything that I wrote down specifically. I told God I wanted to be an impact. I wanted to do, and then these things come, and it's like, Lord, there's a message in the hard times. And for many of us, we only want the easy times. And so during the unpacking, we got to understand that as we mature, whether in Christ, and in real life, unpacking is required. So one of the things that I've gotten to do, and I do it really, really well, I know how to unpack. So when I'm traveling back and forth, whether I'm driving or got a flight, unpacking, it's a thing that I do well, because I know what I put in there. So I know what's supposed to come out. And if there's anything missing, I know what's missing, because I know what I put in there. And I need you to hear prophetically, not just a master life coach, but prophetically, there are certain things that we each need to unpack that we've been carrying a little bit too long. See, if you take the wrong thing and you got, so for those of you who don't know, I'm that traveler. Not only do I have TSA pre-check, I also have global re-entry. That means I'm jumping to the front of the line. The only thing I don't have is that clear. I'm not really sure about them yet, but we gonna check into that to see how they just push you past everybody. But with all of these things that happen, if you pack the wrong thing with TSA, you know what happened? They will kick you out. So your TSA pre-check, valid for 5 years. You got one time to mess up, and then they be like, nah, you can't come over here, not only for the next time out, but you can't come back Like they have to review and decide whether they ever allow you the opportunity. So you might get one if it's like a bottle of water and it go in there, they might give you a pass. But honey, you're not getting no 2 times. Just need you to know, because on that second time you will not pass go. You will go straight to wherever. Now it doesn't mean you're gonna go to jail. Hopefully y'all not bringing none of the things that's on that list that they telling you you're gonna go to jail for. But maybe, you know, it could be a fraction. So much so that it could be as you bring a fruit from a country and you didn't bring it customs properly. They track all of that. But if you know somebody is tracking, you're going to be careful of what you pack. So today, I remind you, as you're thinking about what it is you're unpacking, make sure that you're aware of what you put in there, because you can't unpack. You can't get what you didn't put in and put the time to reflect. You're not going to get nothing from your mirror moments. If you're not going to know how to give yourself grace. You're not going to know how to push forward in these new spaces that God is opening up for you if you don't take the time to unpack, reflect the things that have happened to you. It's okay to say, Lord, I'm sorry because I didn't trust you from point A to B. Now we on D and I see you done did some things. We all have had those moments for grace to trust him more. So as you're unpacking, we're going to keep talking about this on some of our other channels. I might come on over to Unhinged and grab some of y'all and say, listen, let's talk about this, because there's avenues that we can unpack. We can unpack the things that are going on globally around us, where we see the wars and the fighting and how that affects us, how that affects our children. But we can also unpack how we've given ourselves grace in the past, and now we're walking in spaces that we need that grace. So that means you got to go back and pack it so that you can unpack it. So many things we can keep talking. Tilted, I'm going to end on that. You got to know what's in there as you start unpacking.
That's right, because, you know, if you go to certain foreign locations, you might come back with a different foreign 8-legged creature or something in your bag. So be careful. Be careful when you unpack. All right.
Sure.
So thank y'all again for tuning in. Listen, that's how we got them lanternflies. It came from someplace else, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right. Yes. Thank you all for tuning in to Unhinged Live. I'm your host, Tylted Halo, with my good girlfriend, Karen Sims of Twisted Threads. I want to say thank you again to tonight's guests. And again, to those of you who are listening in with us live, those of you who given us the blessing of checking us out on the replay, we appreciate you. And of course, I got to take you out with another Just Be. And tonight, I would like to just go ahead and just say, just be encouraged. With so much going on, you know, we're hearing about the different banks that have closed, and we are hearing rumors of recession. We're hearing rumors of, you know, a possible banking collapse globally that could actually change the way we deal with money moving forward. I want you to remain encouraged during this season, and, you know, take heart knowing that your Heavenly Father loves you and He cares for you. And if He cares for the birds of the air, and if He cares for the beasts of the fields, how much more will He care for you? And if I was to tag another paraphrase scripture onto that, I would just go ahead and say, trust Him more, because of, you know, the story of our brother Job that taught us, you know, though He slay me, yet will I trust Him. And the last time I checked on my life's resume, He ain't never failed me yet. He is definitely a promise keeper. So you stand encouraged, be encouraged, and know that all things are going to work together for your good. It might be bitter, but it's definitely going to make you better. Be encouraged. This is Unhinged Live. Thank you again for your time. Can't wait till next week. This is next Tuesday's Shoulder Shake. Because guess what, y'all?
What?
Girl, you about to press play? Is that what you getting ready to do?
Oh, you know I can't. Hold on, because you
You get ready to press. I'm excited. Look, we about to act up as we go out, because why? This why. Next week, y'all. Next week.
What's next week? What's next week? Listen, I'm gonna play it and then we're gonna do our full outro. Can I
Yeah, then we're gonna do it. Push play, girl. Push play. Oh, hey, the tribe is back, y'all.
Hey.
Oh, girl, I didn't realize how much of a bop that really was. Praise you, Jesus. Thank you, Zion. We miss you, girl, and hope to have you here on the show again soon. We are Unhinged Live. We turned up and we are out. Peace.